Namaste. Thank you for joining me for our Hatha flow class. Today we're going to begin in child's pose. So ease yourself down if you're not already seated on the mat. Sink your hips over your heels. Walk your hands out in front of your knees. Lowering the chest over the thighs. You can widen your knees to the edges of the mat and keep the big toes touching if you'd like to take a wide-legged version. Take a deep breath in, exhale it out, lower the forehead to the mat. Begin to sink down. As you do, bring the awareness to the breath. Feeling the belly expand into or between the legs. On the exhale, allow the tailbone to grow heavy, lengthening back behind you towards the floor. Feel the earth holding you up. Feel the back of the heart space between the shoulder blades expand on the inhales. Release a little bit more on the exhales. Allow yourself to drop down into this moment, into your practice, allowing everything else to fade into the periphery. All you see, all you feel is your body, your breath, here on your mat. Take a final full inhale, sipping in as much air as you possibly can, expanding the back body, expanding the lungs. Open mouth, exhale, let it go. Inhale, slowly begin to lift up, drawing the knees about hips width distance apart. And the arms underneath you, underneath your shoulders. From here, we'll take some dynamic thread of the needle. So plant the left hand in the center of the mat. Inhale the right arm up, and then exhale. Just allow the fingers to graze the mat as you exhale the hand underneath you. Inhale it back up. Exhale, gently thread it underneath. We're not lowering all the way down, just opening that shoulder. Inhaling up, exhaling underneath you. Take a few more rounds. Try to slow it down with the breath. So take a little bit longer to lift, a little bit longer to thread underneath, palm coming up on the other side. One more inhale, big open here, hold. Slow exhale, plant that right hand in the mat, in the center of the mat. Inhale, reach the left arm up, opening through. Exhale, just raise the fingers against the mat as you cross that left arm underneath you. Inhale it back up. Exhaling, lowering through. Inhale it up. Begin to lengthen each movement with your breath. Beginning to slow it down. So inhale a few extra seconds longer. Exhale the same, dragging the fingertips, reaching them out to the other side. Last one, big breath in, stay at the top. Exhale, plant that left hand down. Take a few rounds of cat and cow, dropping the belly, lifting the gaze, lifting the tailbone, inhale. Exhale, curling the spine, finding a cat-like pose. And continuing with these movements in your own breath rhythm. Drag your inhales across the back of your throat so you can hear your breath. And as if you're whispering with the mouth closed, exhaling through, finding that ujjayi breath. Take a few more rounds of your cat and cow. Really arching the back, curling the back. And then coming to neutral spine, extend the right leg long behind you. And then walk the fingertips over, or the toes rather, over the right side, coming up to be parallel, so your hips are parallel, and plant that right foot down. So the right foot is planted, your hip is facing down. And from here, we're going to take some little pulses back and forth, but only go about 30 to 50%. So inhaling forward, exhaling backwards, back and forth, in and out. Not going all the way though, just gently easing into it, letting the body know what's happening, what's coming a little later in class. If you need a little extra support in your knees, you can fold your mat over to double it up for a little extra cushion, or use a blanket, any other little pillow or prop underneath that knee. We'll just be here for a couple more breaths. And then gently return that knee underneath you, and we'll switch sides. Extend the left leg back, pointing out through the heel. And then arc that left toe, that left foot over the left side until it's next to you, across from your left shoulder. Plant that left foot down. Inhale, shift the weight forward. Exhale, only 30 to 50% of the way back, as much as you can go, only about 30 to 50% of that max. Inhaling and exhaling. Just introducing some slow movements. Wakening up the inner legs. Take a couple more back and forth. And then come to the middle of the mat, draw that left knee back in, walk the hands out, lower to your belly. Finding cobra pose, shrug the shoulders up towards the ears, then down the back, lift the heart. Lower the gaze to the edge of the mat, tops of the feet press down. Inhale, lift a little higher. Exhale, lower the forehead, tuck the toes, press the elbows in together and lift into plank. Exhale, downward facing dog. Go ahead and pedal out your feet or walk your dog, bending one knee and lengthening the opposite heel towards the mat. Press your chest towards your thighs. Be light in the neck and the head. And then finding some stillness in your downward facing dog, bring your attention to your left hand and take that left hand, cross it behind you or underneath you to grab your right ankle, looking up underneath your right armpit. Keeping that triangular shape. Exhale, plant that left hand back. Find your right hand opposite side. Right hand to left wrist, left ankle, looking up underneath your left armpit. Try to keep the balance in both feet even. And exhale it back. We're going to take that again with one breath each. So take a big inhale, lift up to the sitting bones. Exhale, left hand to right ankle. Look up under. Exhale, plant it down. Inhale, lift through the hips. Exhale, right hand to left ankle. Look up under your armpit. On your next exhale, plant that hand back down. And we'll just take a couple more of those movements. Moving on the exhales. Go ahead and take one more on each side. And then coming back to downward facing dog, look between your hands and tiptoe or step to the top of the mat. Forward fold, deep bend in the knees. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale to stand, but take your time. Roll the spine. Going as slow as you can. Shoulders roll down the back. Neck begins to straighten. Chin begins to lift. Face your palms forward. Finding your mountain pose, press all four corners of the feet into the mat. Take a deep breath in, open mouth, exhale. Inhale the arms up overhead. Exhale, forward fold, slow motion dive down. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold to plant your hands, step the feet back, plank, or you can lower to your knees. 2 more breaths here. Hug the belly in. Relax the neck. Final inhale. Exhale, lower the knees to the mat, untuck the toes. Lower the chest between the hands, rest the chin on the mat, and then inhale, scoot forward to your cobra pose. Remember to relax the shoulders, lower the gaze. 3 breaths here. Squeeze your elbows in, lighten the palms. One more inhale. Staying for that exhale. And then inhaling, lifting back and up to downward facing dog. Look towards the top of the mat and I'll meet you in forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale to stand, take your time, rolling it up. Arms come up overhead with you. And exhale, sink right into chair. So sending the hips back, weight in the heels, lifting the arms, relax the shoulders. 2 more breaths here. Final inhale and exhale. Inhale to stand, exhale to fold. Halfway lift, inhale. Exhale, plant your hands, step the feet back, lower on down, however you choose. Cobra, up dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, step the right foot forward, warrior 1, back heel spins down. Inhale, arms up. 3 breaths here, relax the shoulders, square the hips and the shoulders to the top of the mat. Back leg is straight, right knee bends. Stay for another round of breath. On the inhale, we're going to shift our weight forward to that right foot and come to one-legged mountain. Lift that left knee up with you. Lower the hands. Extend that left leg long, pointing with the toes, keeping the hips level. Exhale to mountain. Lower that left foot to meet the right. Palms face forward. Inhale to chair. Knees bend, arms rise. Weight in the heels. Heart is open, gaze is up. 1 more round of breath. Inhale to stand. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, hands to shins, halfway up. Exhale, plant your hands, step the feet back, lower through all the way to the mat, cobra, or maybe up dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Warrior 1 on the other side, left foot steps forward, right heel spins back. Inhale, reach the arms up. Square your hip and shoulder points to the top of the mat. Straighten that back leg, bend into that left knee. Breathe. Relax the shoulders, relax the face. And preparing to step forward to that one-legged mountain, shift the weight to the left foot, bring that right knee up, take your time, lower the arms. Extend the left leg or the right leg long in front of you, toes point. Keep that right leg lifted. You can do it. 1 more inhale. Slowly lower that foot on the exhale, finding mountain pose at the top of the mat. Take a minute to bring the palms together, heart center, lower the gaze towards the tips of the fingertips. Find your feet, 4 corners of the mat, pressing down, rooting down, inhaling, gathering that energy up from the earth. Engaging Ujjayi breath. Letting that sound fill your head. Fill the space around you. Blink open the eyes, release the hands. And step the right foot to the back of the mat for warrior 2. So spin the back heel so your toes are facing the back of the mat. Left toes are facing what's now the left edge. Extend the arms long. Take a few breaths to settle in. Right knee is tracking over the toes, opening through the hips and the shoulders. Arms aligned like a T, gaze over the front fingertips. Now here we're going to gather up the energy from the earth. So drawing that up in. So don't just kind of sit down and hang out in your warrior two, leaning in on those joints, letting everything kind of just settle here. This is an active pose. So inhaling, imagine that energy lifting. Press the hips forward, shoulder blades squeeze. Retain that energy in the body. Flip the front palm, inch forward a little bit, reverse your warrior. Flip the right palm up and back. Left hand comes to the left leg. Look up at your right palm. Breathe into that right side body, expanding through the right ribs. Arm comes up overhead. Inhale back to warrior two. And then pivot to take warrior two at the top of the mat. So the left toes are now facing the top. Right toes are facing what's now the right edge of the mat. Sink in. Same thing, broaden through the chest, broaden through the hips. Reach through the fingertips. Inhale that energy up. Make it active. Press the feet into the mat. Hugging the energy in, squeezing the feet in towards each other. Don't forget to breathe. Inhale, reach forward, flip the front palm, reverse your warrior. Left palm up and over. Finding that nice side body expansion with the inhale. Maybe gazing up at that left palm. Inhale back to warrior two. Exhale to five-pointed star. Reach the arms out, heels come in. And then walk the feet in a little bit more. Turn the toes to face the top of the mat. So they're parallel with the edges. Hands to your hips. Take a deep breath in. Exhale out. We're going to move to goddess. So turn the heels in a little bit. Toes facing the edges of the mat. Keeping your hands on your hips, begin to sink into a goddess squat. Send the hips back. Press the hips forward. So sitting bones back, rather. Tucking the tailbone. And then just kind of take some little side-to-side moves in your goddess. Keeping the spine straight. A couple more breaths here. And come to stillness. Straighten the legs on an inhale. Look towards the top of the mat and step to mountain. Release the palms. 2 breaths here. Center down. Reground your feet. Pressing all 4 corners down. Rooting down. Drawing energy up. Then from here we'll take tree pose. Bring the palms together at heart center for prayer. Shift the weight to the left foot. Begin to lift the right heel off the mat. And without using your hand to lift anything up, just drag the toes against your ankle. Draw the heel up your leg as far as you can, taking your time. Allowing yourself a little acclimation to the balance if you fall out. No worries, just get back in. Find your foot pressing against your leg and find that left leg pressing against your foot. And creating a seal there. So again, drawing that energy up through the earth in towards your center. Don't let yourself just kind of sink down into this pose. Make it active. Couple more breaths here. Feel free to play with your arm variations. Maybe you want to grow the palms up overhead. Maybe you want to keep them at heart center. Two more breaths in our tree pose. When you're ready to come out, turn that right knee to face the front. Lower that right leg down. And we'll take the other side. Shift the weight to the right foot. Lift up that left heel. And drag it up the right leg, taking your time. Squeezing the foot and the leg together. Drawing energy up in towards the center line of the body. Relax the shoulders down the back. Find a steady point to gaze at. And breathe. Continue this energy exchange with your breath. Exhaling through the foot into the earth. Inhaling, cycling that energy up through your body. If you took a different arm variation on the other side, mimic that on this side too. No rush. Enjoy it. 2 more breaths in tree. And then inhale the left knee in front. Lower that right leg down. Bring your hands to your hips and hop or step your feet about hips width distance apart. Inhale, lift the chest, lift the gaze. Slight bend in the knees. Exhale, fold forward. And take your 2 peace fingers, your first 2 fingers, and wrap them around your big toe. So we've got our big toe hold. Inhale, halfway lift. Bend your knees as much as you need to here to come up halfway. And then exhale, fold the upper body over the legs, lifting up through the sitting bones. Maybe slightly beginning to straighten the legs. Let the head hang heavy. See if you can find some weightlessness in the head and the neck. Find your deep breathing. 2 more breaths here in our big toe hold. On an inhale, halfway lift. Release your big toe and plant your hands underneath your feet so that your palms are facing the bottom of your foot. And you can wiggle your toes up to your wrists. Inhale, look up. And again, bend your knees as much as you need here. Exhale, fold. Head hangs heavy. Relax the back. Lengthening through the back of the legs, even if it's just thinking about it. Embrace any shaking. 2 more breaths here. Maybe wiggling the toes to give your wrists a little massage. And on an inhale, look up halfway. Take the hands out from under the toes. Bring your hands to your waist. Deep bend in the knees and slowly inhale out. Release the hands to mountain. Inhale, reach the arms up overhead. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, plant your hands, step the feet back to plank. Stay here for 2 more breaths. Engaging the core. Stay with yourself. Exhale, lower your knees, chest and chin. Inhale, scoot forward to cobra. Relax the shoulders down. Lower the gaze. 3 breaths. Tops of the feet pressing down into the mat as they reach back. Finding some length. Exhale, lower the forehead to the mat. And plant the hands and the arms next to you so the fingertips are reaching towards your feet. From here, we'll take half locust pose, just lifting the feet. So plant the hands down, palms down, forehead to the mat. And bring the big toes to touch. And inhale, lift the feet and the legs off the mat just a little bit. Exhale, lower. We'll take 2 more of those. Inhale, lift the toes, lift the legs maybe a little bit higher. Exhale, lower. Last time, lift as much as you can. You can press into the hands a little bit. Find some length, so keep pointing the toes back as you lift. Exhale, lower. Bring the palms to either side of your chest. Lifting up and back. Take a couple rounds of cat and cow. Rinse it out. And then shift the hips over the heels. Take a child's pose. 3 rounds of breath of rest here. Forehead to the mat. Again, any variation, your knees could be apart. Maybe your arms come down to your side instead. And just breathe. Finding your center. Getting back in tune with your breath rhythm. Whenever you're ready, slowly, mindfully, lift yourself up to downward facing dog. Taking your time. Find a deep inhale. Extended exhale. Look towards the top of the mat. And step to forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. To inhale, stand. Arms come up overhead. Exhale, cactus arms 90 degrees or lower with the elbows. Inhale, reach it back up. And then exhale, step the right foot to the back of the mat and spin to face the right side like a 5-pointed star. From here, we're going to move to triangle pose over the right foot. So pivot to face the back of the mat, which is your right foot. Spend a breath or two here. Slight bend into that right knee to start. And grab your block, if you need it, planting on the inside of that foot. Extend the arms up overhead. Inhale, reach forward, and then lower that right hand to the inside of the right leg, either propping yourself up on a block or pressing that palm against the inside of the leg. Pull the right hip back, pull that left hip forward. Reach up with the left hand and follow your gaze up towards the fingertips. Notice if you're dumping into one side of the foot or the other. Pressing all 4 corners of the feet down into the mat, so that may mean placing some of the weight on the inner sides of the feet. Or if you tend to walk more on the inside of the foot, you might need to put the the knife edge of the foot, the outer edge down. So just kind of play around with that and see how that affects the balance. You can always lower your gaze towards your right foot if you need a little extra stability. Once you feel good there, begin to lengthen up, maybe tilting the pelvis forward, tucking the tailbone down, finding some space. Breathe. On your next inhale, we're going to come up as if someone's lifting you up from your fingertips, finding that 5-pointed star. Turn all toes to face the edge of the mat, the side that you're facing. And then pivot to face the top of the mat for triangle on the other side. So adjust your stance as much as you need. Left toes are facing the top of the mat. Your right toes are a little bit at an angle. Pull that left hip back, right hip forward. Inhale, reach forward, then drop that left hand to the inside of the left foot, the left leg. Grab your block if you need it. Slight bend in the knees if you tend to lock out your joints. Reach the right arm up. Press the hips forward. Lengthen up. And here we'll be. Finding your triangle shape. Focusing in on how it feels as you spin the torso towards the right. You lift your gaze up towards your fingertips. Spreading the arms like wings wide. Stable in the legs. So once again, check in with your feet. Where do you need to press down on your feet to make them fully grounded into the earth? How does that affect the rest of the body? A couple more breaths here. And press down to the feet. Inhale, lift up through that right arm. Coming back to your 5-pointed star, bring your hands to your hips. Shrug the shoulders up and down the back. Spend a breath here, close the eyes. Allow the posture to soak into the body. And as you're ready, blink open the eyes, extend the arms wide. And from here, we're taking revolve triangle. So spin on your heels to face the back of the mat. Bring your right hand to your right hip and pull that right hip back. Adjust your stance as much as you need. You might need to shorten your stance here. So pulling that right hip back, left hip comes forward. Reach that left arm up, and then exhale, bring the left hand to the outside of the right leg. Pull that right hip back. You'll feel it in your hip, down the side of your leg. Then maybe reaching up with that right arm. Just do your best. Breathe. Feet are firmly pressing into the mat. Keep sending that right hip back, left hip forward. One more breath. Inhale, slowly unwind to come up. 5-pointed star. And pivot on your heels to face the top of the mat. Bring your left hand to your left hip. Pull that left hip back. Right arm comes up as you square the right hip towards the top of the mat. Exhale, the back of the right hand to the outside of the left leg for a revolved triangle on the other side. So pull that left hip back until you feel it. Slight bend in the knees. Press the feet firmly into the mat. Lift the left arm when you're ready. Deep breaths. Stay with the pose. Stay with yourself. Maybe even thinking some positive thoughts for yourself here. Encourage yourself. Feel the sense of grounding in the feet, even though the upper body may be shaking. Your balance may be wavering. You're still standing. You get back up. One more breath. Inhale, come back up to that 5-pointed star. Bring your hands to your hips, slide bend in the knees, wide-legged forward fold, hinging at the hips, lowering the body down. Plant the hands in front of you, left hand down. Inhale, reach that right arm up. You can use a block here if you need a little extra length, little extra lift. Lift your gaze to your fingertips. Shift the weight forward to the balls of the feet. Press out through the sitting bones. One more inhale. Exhale, lower that right hand, and we'll switch sides. Right hand plants in the middle of the mat or on a block. Inhale, reach that left arm up. Don't lock out the legs. Slight bend in the knees if you need. Shift the weight forward onto the balls of the feet while still wheeling those heels down. Lifting up through that left hand, through the left shoulder. One more inhale. Exhale, slowly lower that hand down. Halfway lift, so tent the fingertips, lengthen through the spine. Bend in the knees, plant your hands on your hips. Slowly begin to come up. Step towards the top of the mat. Inhale, lift the arms. Exhale, fold, planting the hands on the mat. Stepping back to your downward facing dog. Maybe a child's pose if you need a little break. We'll be here for 3 rounds of breath. So meet us there if you want to take a little side trip to child's pose. Make your breaths long and extended. Deep and full. Good. Final inhale. Come up to downward dog if you were in child's pose. And then take that right foot underneath you, fallen triangle, and extend it out the left side of the mat. When your right foot is there, begin to lift that left arm. Finding your fallen triangle pose, reaching out through all angles. So imagine your legs and your right arm are extensions of your spine. Root down where you can, lift up where you can. One more inhale. Exhale, slowly lower that left hand to the mat. Send that right leg back, downward dog. We'll take the other side when you're ready. Lifting that left foot, bring it underneath you, and then extending that left leg out the right side of the mat. When you're ready, reach that right arm up. Taking your fallen triangle, let your gaze follow the right hand up if you can. Rooting down through the places that meet the mat. 2 more breaths here. Keep lifting. Remember, drawing the energy up and in towards you, towards your center. 1 more inhale. Can you lift a little higher? Exhale, lower that right hand to the mat. Step back to downward dog. Exhale, shift forward to plank. Lower the knees, chest and chin. Inhale to cobra. Exhale to child's pose. 3 rounds of breath here. Reconnect with the breath rhythm. Trying to extend your exhales a little longer than your inhales. Allow the body to melt towards the earth a little bit. Letting your shoulders relax down. And tailbone becomes heavy. When you're ready, gently begin to sit up. Walking out to tabletop. And bring your right foot between your hands. And just take a gentle low lunge. Bring your hands to your hips as you begin to sit up through the spine. And just gently press forward and back. Stretching through the left hip flexor. Just a couple times to ease into it. And then pull that left hip forward, right hip back, reach the arms up. Exhale, bring your hands to the inside of the foot. Keep the left hand planted, twist in towards your knee as you lift your right arm. Exhale, reach the right hand back. Inhale it back up, 2 breaths here. Keep pulling that right hip back, left hip forward. Feel the stretch, breathe into it. Then exhale, lower that right hand to the other side of the foot. Half splits, walk the hands back as you lift your left toe. Maybe lengthening through your stance. Now the right hip pulls back, the left hip pulls forward. You can prop yourself up with your blocks if you need to stay lifted. Keep the heart open here. Breathe deep into the back of the leg space. Again, even though we've got gravity drawing us down, and this is a stretch for the back of the legs, it's also drawing that energy up. So you have the action of the heel, front heel pulling back. The knee of the left leg is pulling forward, drawing that energy up from the earth into your center line. Drawing that prana in, your life force, your vitality. Be here for a couple more breaths. Focus your gaze on a point in front of you. On your inhale, slightly bend into that right knee. Walk the hands forward to plant that foot down. And switch sides, bring that right knee to meet the left. Bring the left foot between the hands. Bring your hands to your hips. And just begin to rock forward and back. And find some stillness. Pull the right hip forward, left hip back. Reach the arms up. Exhale, plant the hands down on the inside of the foot. Right hand stays planted. This time, reach the left arm up as you twist in towards your left knee. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, lower that hand back towards the foot. Inhale it up overhead. Reach the fingertips up towards the ceiling, towards the sky. Exhale, lower that left hand to the outside of the left leg. Grab your block if you need it. Half splits. Walking the fingertips back. Keeping the heart open. Left hip pulls back in space. Right hip points forward. Maybe beginning to fold over that front leg. But again, still keeping that energy cycle moving. Drawing up through the legs. Into the belly, into the chest. Cycling that energy through with the breath. Two more rounds of breath here. Find a steady gaze. And exhale, bend into that knee. Walk the hands forward. And step that left foot back. Take a few rounds of cat and cow. Really exaggerate here. Add in any other organic movements that might feel good. Maybe some figure eights. Maybe a thread the needle. Moving with your breath. Take a couple more rounds of breath. Let's shift the hips over the heels. Come to a seat. The knees bent in front of you. And extend the left leg a little bit so you can cross your right ankle over the right knee. Walk that left foot back in. I'm going to take the baby cradle pose. So hook that left inner elbow around the foot, right elbow grabs around the right knee, and then you can either lower that left leg, you can cross it in front of you. Maybe you want to keep that leg propped up, and that's fine too. Same benefits of the pose, work with what you got. You want the spine somewhat straight, and that energetic lifting. At the same time, grounding down through the sitting bones, pressing the left toes back towards your face, reaching up through the back. And then just take a gentle rocking as if you've got a little baby in your arms. Relax the jaw, relax the face. And then begin to bend into that left knee so you can gently lower your baby cradle onto your left leg. Prop your hands behind you and take some windshield wipers, left and right. That foot still on the leg. And then walk that left heel in. Take your peace fingers, the first two fingers again, and grab your toe. And begin to reach out that leg. You can keep your left leg bent if you'd like. You can also use a strap here by putting a strap around the foot and holding it like this. If you've got your strap available, that's a good option. You can also hold on to the back of your leg or even pull that knee in if grabbing your toe is not accessible. So once you've got your foot here, you can prop yourself up with your hand if you need. Inhale to lengthen the spine, and then exhale, begin to open that leg out over the right side of the mat. Maybe holding onto that knee for support. Slight bend in the left and then right knee to keep those leg channels open. Inhale a little wider. Exhale, begin to bring that right foot forward, bending into the knee. Drop it down. A couple windshield wipers. Let's shake it out before we move to the other side. All right, so bring the knees back up to center. Walk that right foot away from you so you can cross your left ankle over your right knee. And then walk that heel back in. Grab that foot to knee like a baby cradle in the crooks of your elbows. Extend that right leg long or however you took on the other side. Straighten up through the spine. Deep breath in. And then exhale, gentle rocking left and right. Rock-a-bye the baby. Focus the breath. Focus the gaze. And begin to bend into that right knee. Walking it in until you can lower that cradle onto your leg. And take those windshield wipers, dropping the knee and the foot to one side and then the other. Continuing to link breath with movement. Breathing audibly, your Ujjayi breath. And then coming back to center. Prop yourself up with your right hand. Take your left peace fingers, the first two fingers, wrap them around your left toe. Begin to extend that leg long out in front of you. Maybe straightening through the leg, maybe not. Maybe using a strap. Maybe just hanging onto your knee. So find your stance. Inhale to straighten through the spine. Exhale to open the hip towards the left. Pull the toe, pull the fingers out over the left. And maybe holding onto that right knee for support. Keep the spine straight here. Couple breaths here. Relax the shoulders. Inhale to open a little bit more. Exhale to close, bringing that foot in, drawing the knee in, releasing the toes. And hug your arms around your shins. Drop the forehead towards the knees. Curl into a little ball. Exhale through open mouth. Slowly begin to roll onto your back. You can take a few rounds to Roll up and down the spine on either side. Eventually, slowly landing onto your back, lowering the feet about hips width distance apart in line with your hips. Hands come down, fingertips reaching for your heels, preparing for bridge pose. Exhale out all the air. Take a deep breath in. One more exhale. And then pressing the feet into the mat, pressing the hands and the forearms down. Lift your pelvis off the mat, pressing the hip points and the pubic bone up towards the ceiling. We're going to be in bridge pose for 3 breaths. If you'd like to go a little bit higher, you can try clasping your fingertips together underneath you, wiggling the shoulder blades together until your forearms and elbows are pressing into the mat. Lifting up through the hips, relax the butt. Energetically squeeze the thighs together. Don't forget to save some space for your neck. We've gone a little bit longer than 3 breaths. But sometimes when it feels good, you just stay up for an extra breath or 2. We're going to take 3 rounds of bridge pose as well. So if you'd like to release down, do so whenever you're ready, gently, mindfully, with intention. Rolling the spine down, taking a breath or 2 of rest before lifting back up into your bridge again, at least 3 breaths in each bridge. Move with your breath, still grounding the feet into the mat. Relax the neck. Find a point to gaze at. Keep the mind engaged with what the body is doing. Go ahead and lower on down from your second bridge if you haven't already. And prepare for your final bridge pose. Inhaling, lifting up. Keeping the breath in the body. If you'd like a little extra challenge here, it's by no means necessary. But if you'd like, shift the weight to the right foot. Begin to lift the left foot off the mat, point the toes, reaching the foot up towards the ceiling. And exhale and lowering it. Switching sides, shift the weight to the left foot, lifting the right foot, point the toes up towards the sky. Exhale and lowering. Inhale, lift your bridge a little bit higher, only if it's okay. Release the palms. If you clasp them, slowly roll the spine down, starting with the upper back and the lower back. Reach the arms up overhead. Lengthen the legs onto the mat, point the toes, take a big stretch. Open mouth, exhale. Walk the feet back in, bending the knees. And draw the right knee in towards you, squeezing it in. Relax the left leg down to the mat. And then take a twist. Left hand pulls that right leg across the body. Right arm extends. Your right gaze follows. Keep your shoulder blades on the mat. Give yourself permission to release and let go. Close the eyes or soften the gaze. And then inhale, face back upwards. Bring the right knee in with you. Squeeze it in one more time. And then take that right hand and gently allow the right knee to open towards the right side. Exhale it back in and switch sides. Extend the right leg long. Draw the left knee in. Clasp your fingertips around the knee. And gently pull or press it towards you, in towards your armpit. And then our twist. Right hand takes hold of that right knee, gently pulls it across the body. Extend the left arm out. Look over your left shoulder. Shoulder blades on the mat, wiggle into place, and then find some stillness. Bringing out the body. Allow yourself to relax into the twist. Release any areas that are still holding you up, still holding tension. And inhale, straighten the gaze towards the ceiling. Lifting back up, draw that left knee in, pull it in close. And then allow that left hip to open as you lower the left knee and the left leg over the left side. Inhale it back in. Draw both knees in towards your chest, give yourself a hug. And take happy baby, reach between the hands or between the knees and grab shins, ankles, toes. And enjoy your happy baby pose, whatever that looks like for you today. Play around, there's no rules, except to still breathe and don't do anything that hurts, of course. And checking in with the body, noticing if there's anything else it might need to close out the practice. Otherwise, when you're ready, make your way to Shavasana, corpse pose. Extending the limbs, flat on the floor. Starting with the feet, relaxing every inch, letting everything go. Feel the legs become heavy. The belly becomes soft as you release the awareness of your breath. Feel the hip and shoulder bones pressing into the mat. Bring stillness to the fingers and the hands. Relax through the shoulders and the neck. Unclench the jaw, release the tongue. Softly allow the eyes to close and the forehead to smooth out. Enjoy a few minutes of this peaceful rest. Allowing the body and the mind to circulate the prana that we brought in through the practice today. Allow yourself to drift. Allow yourself to stay. As your awareness gently comes back to the body and the mind, take some soft movements. Begin to awaken the fingers and the toes, feet and the hands. And slowly bring the legs together. Gently extend the arms overhead. Taking a reawakening stretch. Exhale, bend the knees and lower them to one side. Curling into yourself. Stay here just a couple more moments. Hanging on to a sense of self, sense of groundedness. Curling in to nurture your inner essence. And as you're ready, gently begin to sit up in a comfortable seat. Keeping the eyes soft or closed, bring the palms together at heart center. Tuck the chin. Exhale out fully. Inhale deeply. May all beings everywhere be happy and free, and may our thoughts, words, and actions in some way contribute to that happiness and to the freedom of us all. Bow your head towards your hands. And exhale, release the palms, lift the gaze. Thank you for sharing this practice with me. And I'll see you next time on the virtual mat.